Truth and a narcissist go together like oil and water. They simply cannot coexist in the same space. If you have ever loved a narcissist, worked under one, or shared a roof with them, you already know from painful experience that absolutely nothing is off limits. They do not operate by the normal rules of human decency, respect, or honesty. Instead, their entire reality is meticulously built on a deceptive framework designed for one specific purpose: to keep you entirely compliant, confused, and controlled. While the specific stories they spin will change from day to day, their psychological playbook never does. Every single narcissist relies on a predictable set of core lies to systematically warp your perception of reality, chip away at your sanity, and keep you dependent on them. It is time to strip away the chaos, look past the smoke and mirrors, and expose the foundational lies they use to trap you. Lie 1. You can be vulnerable with me. This is the initial trap, and it is easily one of the most dangerous lies in their entire arsenal. A narcissist rarely walks up and says these exact words directly. Instead, they masterfully play the part of the perfect, ultimate listener during the early stages of your relationship. They will look into your eyes with intense focus, offer seemingly endless empathy, and ask deeply personal questions about your past, your fears, and your dreams. To make you feel entirely safe, they will often share beautifully manufactured, tragic stories of their own childhoods or past heartbreaks, creating a false sense of deep emotional intimacy. It feels like you have finally met someone who truly sees you, gets you, and wants to protect your heart. You feel an overwhelming urge to lower your guard, tear down your walls, and let them see the rawest parts of who you are. But this entire setup is completely fake. It feels like safety, but it is actually a highly calculated, strategic data mining mission. The narcissist is not trying to connect with your soul. They are collecting intelligence to use against you later. Every single childhood insecurity, past trauma, relationship failure, secret fear, and emotional trigger you share with them is quietly logged away in their mental filing cabinet. They are studying your emotional blueprint to find your exact weak points. The very second you step out of line, challenge their behavior, or try to establish a healthy boundary, the illusion of safety vanishes instantly. Those deeply personal vulnerabilities you handed over in total trust will be dragged out, twisted, and brutally weaponized against you to make you feel small, crazy, and utterly broken. Lie 2. I've got your back. This lie is designed to create a powerful, intoxicating illusion of deep loyalty and unwavering alliance. In the beginning, the narcissist will consciously cultivate a fierce us-against-the-world mentality, making you feel like the two of you are an unbeatable team capable of taking on any challenge together. They want you to believe with absolute certainty that you have a rock-solid, fiercely protective partner standing right beside you in the trenches. They will loudmouthedly declare their loyalty, promise to defend you against anyone who wrongs you, and step up to do favors or play the ultimate hero when life gets messy. But you need to understand that this entire display is a performance. A narcissist is fundamentally incapable of true loyalty because they only ever cover one person's back, their own. When you look closer at the favors they do or the times they step up to save the day, you will realize it only ever happens under two conditions: when it is incredibly convenient for them, or when it actively builds their public image as a good, selfless person. They love the applause and the praise that comes with playing the savior, but the very second that supporting you requires real, authentic sacrifice, they will vanish into thin air. Even worse, the exact moment it benefits them to betray you, whether that means climbing the corporate ladder, saving their own reputation, or gaining favor with someone else, they will turn on you instantly. Without a single shred of hesitation or guilt, They will switch from your loudest cheerleader to your fiercest, most calculating enemy, leaving you to take the fall for a crisis they promised to help you fight. Lie 3. It's not my fault. If there is one thing a narcissist absolutely cannot tolerate, it is accountability. True personal responsibility is their absolute kryptonite because their fragile egos simply cannot survive the weight of being wrong or flawed. Because of this, their entire life is a non-stop masterclass in blame shifting. No matter what goes wrong, whether it is a massive financial disaster, a blown deadline at work, an abusive outburst behind closed doors, or something as small as losing their car keys, it will never, ever be their fault. To keep themselves completely blameless, they will instantly project their own worst traits onto you, deflect the conversation away from their actions, and aggressively rewrite history right before your eyes, confidently insisting that events happened completely differently than they actually did. When they are cornered with undeniable, cold, hard evidence that makes it impossible to slip away or deny what they did, they will seamlessly pivot to their next line of defense: absolute justification. Instead of apologizing, they will look you dead in the eye and argue that their toxic behavior was actually a completely logical, unavoidable reaction to something you did. They will claim that you drove them to act that way, that you pushed their buttons, or that you didn't give them a choice. They are so incredibly smooth, confident, and persuasive when spinning these inverted narratives that it will completely warp your sense of reality. They can twist the truth so beautifully that unsuspecting outsiders, and very often you yourself, will end up completely believing their version of the story, leaving you apologizing for being mistreated while they walk away completely unscathed. Lie 4. Things will get better. This lie is the ultimate emotional hook, and it is the exact reason why so many people find themselves trapped in toxic cycles for years or even decades. In the world of psychology, this incredibly toxic manipulation tactic is known as future faking. A narcissist is a master at studying your deepest desires, figuring out exactly what you crave most in life, and then using those dreams as bait. If you are in a romantic relationship, they will paint vivid, beautiful pictures of the perfect wedding, the dream house, or the family you will build together. If it is a narcissistic boss, they will promise you that a massive promotion, a huge raise, or a lighter workload is just around the corner. They deliberately dangle these perfect scenarios just out of your reach, constantly promising you that things will drastically change for the better just as soon as you pass a specific milestone. Whether that is moving in together, getting through a stressful month at work, or surviving a temporary rough patch. But you have to realize that this promised future is a complete mirage. It is a destination that does not exist. In reality, narcissistic abuse never gets better over time because it operates on a permanent, unforgiving downward slope. The moment a narcissist realizes they can mistreat you, disrespect your boundaries, or cruelly discard you, and you will still take them back, the entire baseline of the relationship permanently drops. They learn exactly what you are willing to tolerate, and they adjust their toxic behavior to become the new normal. Every time you accept their empty promises of a better tomorrow, you are inadvertently teaching them that they can push you even further without any real consequences. It never goes back to how it was in the beginning, and it never magically fixes itself. The cycle simply gets darker, the disrespect gets louder, and it only ever gets worse. Lie 5. I'm the most honest person you'll ever meet. This statement should always be treated as an immediate, massive red flag. Truly honest, high-integrity people never feel the need to walk around handing out verbal resumes to prove how trustworthy they are. They let their consistent actions, their reliability, and their everyday behavior speak for themselves. A narcissist, however, will loudly and repeatedly announce their absolute honesty right from the very beginning of your interaction. They do this as a calculated, preemptive strike to completely disarm your natural intuition and silence your inner alarm bells. They want to program your mind to believe in their perfect integrity up front, so that later down the line, when your gut tells you that something is terribly wrong or that you are being deceived, you will actively doubt your own instincts instead of doubting them. Even when a narcissist is smooth enough to avoid telling easily provable, bold-faced lies, they still rule your life through the sinister art of lies of omission. They operate heavily in the gray areas of deception by deliberately withholding massive, crucial pieces of information that you have every right to know. They will keep entire secret lives, hidden bank accounts, or quiet alliances completely locked away in the dark. By keeping you completely blind to the full truth, they can easily manipulate your choices, dictate your reality, and keep you jumping through exhausting hoops for their affection, validation, or support. They will happily let you burn your own time and energy striving for a reward, a promotion, or a commitment that they have already promised to someone else entirely, all while smugly convincing themselves that they never actually lied to you. Lie 6. I promise I'm going to change. This is the ultimate emergency brake a narcissist pulls when they realize they have pushed you too far and the game is about to end. You need to understand one absolute rule. You will never, ever hear this profound promise when things are going smoothly or when you are quietly pleading with them to treat you better. A narcissist does not care about your tears, your exhaustion, or your broken heart. They will only serve up this massive, convincing lie when they are on the absolute verge of losing something they desperately need, specifically your attention, your energy, and your validation. The second they sense that you are truly done, that your bags are packed, or that you are mentally disconnecting from their drama, a switch flips inside of them. Suddenly, the cold, arrogant person you've been fighting with vanishes, replaced by a desperate, weeping soul who swears they finally see the light. When you finally pull away, initiate a breakup, or cut off contact, they will unleash a torrent of dramatic tears, sudden promises to go to therapy, and intense vows to do whatever it takes to be better for you. In psychology, this is known as a hoovering tactic, named after the vacuum cleaner because its sole purpose is to suck you right back into the toxic cycle. They aren't mourning the immense pain they have caused you, and they aren't looking back with genuine regret over how badly they treated a good person. They are simply panicking over the immediate loss of their control and the sudden drop in their narcissistic supply. They will tell you exactly what you have been dying to hear for months, just to get you to lower your guard. But the very microsecond you step back into that trap, unpack your bags, and forgive them, the fake persona drops, the promises evaporate, and the old abusive behavior returns with an absolute vengeance. Lie 7. I love you. This is without a doubt the single heaviest, most devastating lie to process in the aftermath of a relationship with a narcissist. It cuts the deepest because it makes you look back at every shared memory, every anniversary, and every sweet moment and feel a total, agonizing betrayal of your entire reality. You ask yourself how someone could look you in the eyes, say those words, and then treat you like an enemy. But to heal, you have to look directly at the cold, hard medical truth. Narcissists are fundamentally, structurally deficient in emotional empathy. They do not possess the psychological hardware required to connect to the depth, vulnerability, and selflessness that genuine human love demands. They cannot feel your pain, they cannot share your joy, and they cannot value your soul as an independent entity. When a narcissist looks at you and says, "I love you," They are using a completely different dictionary than you are. What they actually mean in that moment is, I love how you make me feel about myself. I love the immense power and control I have over your emotions. I love the financial security, the status, the attention, or the domestic comfort you provide for me. You are not a partner to them. You are an asset, an appliance that makes their life run smoothly. This profound lack of empathy is the exact reason why their behavior seems so terrifyingly inconsistent. It is why they can switch from displaying seemingly pure, overwhelming affection on a Friday night to treating you with ice-cold, calculated cruelty on a Saturday morning. Because there is no real emotional attachment anchoring their kindness, they can turn it off like a light switch the absolute second you stop serving their immediate needs. Lie 8. You're worthless. This is the final, ultimate blow in their psychological warfare, and it is easily the most toxic, damaging lie a narcissist will ever tell you. It is not just a random insult hurled in the heat of an argument. It is a highly calculated, foundational lie that they desperately need you to believe with your entire soul. A narcissist knows that as long as you hold on to even a tiny shred of self-respect, you remain a threat to their control. So they set out to completely erase your identity. After months or even years of systematic gaslighting, constant criticism, passive-aggressive remarks, and cruel insults, your mind naturally gets exhausted. When you are exposed to that level of emotional toxicity day in and day out, your psychological defenses start to crumble, and it becomes incredibly easy to internalize their venom. You start echoing their cruel words in your own head, losing complete touch with the confident, vibrant person you used to be before you walked into this trap. But you need to look past the wreckage of their words and understand the absolute truth. Their abuse was never, ever a reflection of your true value as a human being. It was always a direct mirror image reflection of their own deep, unfixable self-hatred and inner emptiness. A narcissist is a black hole of insecurity, and they cannot stand to see someone else walking in light, confidence, and peace. They did not target you because you were weak or worthless. They targeted you because you had an abundance of light, kindness, and strength that they wanted to drain for themselves. They spent all that time trying to systematically break your self-worth because they knew they could never control or manipulate someone who actually knew their own value. The moment you realize that their cruelty was just a desperate, pathetic projection of their own inner brokenness, the lie loses all its power, and you can finally begin to rebuild the self-worth they tried so hard to steal.